Hi there, you're with English Coach today, and I'm here to talk about how to become truly free in your life. Now, as we go through the definition of freedom, which is the ability to do what you would like when you would like, I would like to go into a little bit more detail on living free and often the things that stop us from living a free life or cause us to feel like we are imprisoned or that we are under some kind of pressure or under having limited options or limited um, choices to live our life. Now, where do these often come from, and what are the consequences of these things? These generally come from things like fixed thinking or fixed mentalities about life, structured thinking, routine thinking, and autopilot thinking, which are all basically the same thing. You go through your day and you don't focus on the finer details. You have a routine that you repeat day after day after day, and those things become kind of grayish, and you don't really look into or investigate the reasons behind what is going on, and you treat everything on a superficial level. Now, why is that a prison? That's a prison because you're not actually making choices during that day. You're not physically making choices. You say, what comes next? What comes next is the words or are the words that you're using in your mind as you think of the next task. And the next task may be getting up in the morning, making your bed, having a coffee, cleaning, brushing your teeth, and then getting to work, or any of those things or other things in a different order. But you repeat those things every day until they become fixed habits. And the fixed habits, therefore, become a fixed routine, and the fixed routine becomes a fixed mindset, which basically puts you into a kind of routine prison. Okay? Now, that's the first aspect of talking about what's against you. The other thing is when we're talking about your beliefs and perceptions of the world, not just your routine and your mindset, but also your perception of the world and your beliefs about the world. So you may have some prejudice, you may have some set beliefs about certain people and certain institutions and certain things, certain groups. And so when you go out to live your life in the community where you are, and when you take the train to work or your car or a motorbike or however else you get there, and you look around at the people that surround you in the place where you're going, and you notice other people, and you're consistently or constantly judging them, and you're judging them on how they dress, on what their ethnic background might be, on what kind of car, or if we're talking about motorbike, they are driving, on what kind of bag they're carrying. If you're on a train, you can see their shoes, what kind of shoes they're wearing. And we tend to have these patterns of thinking or patterns of judging other people that really repeat and consolidate and become like a concrete prison in terms of our perception. We think we have the freedom to be able to judge a person by their own merits without looking at an identity that we create for the person in our minds. But the actual truth is, we are completely biased as human beings. We form ideas and beliefs about other people as we go through life, and those beliefs tend to consolidate, they tend to get stronger. But the problem is, we're often wrong, but either we don't pay attention when we're proven wrong, or we make up an alternative argument or an alternative excuse to explain why we got it wrong, or to explain the alternative or the other way of looking at it. Okay? So these are actually mental prisons or perceptional prisons, prisons of perception. And the way of truly becoming free in your approach to life, in your way of life, and your ability to be completely free is based on one thing and one thing only: your ability to drop judgmental thinking. And when I say judgmental thinking, I'm also including the autopilot, because the autopilot, if you like it or not, is connected to the judgmental thinking. If you think about it, the judgmental thinking in this case is like the train, and the autopilot is the rails. Obviously, it would be the inverse because of the word pilot, but in fact, in this case, autopilot is the rails. Why? Because you're consistently looking for those rails or those tractor tire tracks that keep you driving down the same surfaces instead of discovering other parts of a field or parts of a town. And so you're consistently trapped in those same views. The question is, how do you drop judgmental thinking habits? How do you drop these habits? How do you drop these perceptions that everything is decided and everything is in its perfect box and society knows what's best for you? How do you get past those things to be able to see people's brilliant, unique sides and not focus so much on what they have in common with other people of their type or their genre or their gender or their age or whatever you're judging them by? And the question is answered with something very simple, but something quite hard to put into practice, which is awareness. When I say awareness, I mean being aware that your mind is automatically judging, not so that you can punish yourself, not so that you can tell yourself that it's wrong, not so that you can correct yourself, not so that you can control yourself, but just so that you know that you're doing it and that there are other options. The person can be other things. The situation could be from another root cause. The reasons for you to feel bad or to feel good or to be sick or to be healthy, they could be other reasons. You need to think about it more. You need to think about why you have these biases as well. Where do they come from? Okay? Having a non-judgmental approach gives you true freedom. Not judging others gives you power, gives you freedom. Judging other people puts you in prison, not them. They don't get put into a box. You put them into a box, and somehow you put yourself in a box. Other people don't know what you're thinking unless you actually voice those thoughts and say something either prejudice or not very appropriate. And then you're the one offending someone else with that idea. So awareness is key. Awareness is one of the first things you need to use in being able to put yourself out in the world and look at other people and try to look for uniqueness, not what they have in common with other people, but how are they unique? What is different about them? Start from there and then question. Whenever you have one of these thoughts, oh, this person looks like this other person, or this person's behavior reminds me of that, or this situation is a result of this in society. Question it. Go deep down. Don't be afraid to Judge your judgment. Now, don't think about that as negative. Think about that as getting closer to the truth. Go further under from your thinking instinct. Your superficial thinking instinct may see the color blue behind me. Question that it's not a very different shade of green, for example. Okay? Question everything that you see and everything that you hear to create the awareness that you need to live a free life. Question your set beliefs about people, situations, and society in general, cultures and TV programs and music and whatever. Question it and set yourself free. Create awareness. Know that we are often wrong about everything. We are often wrong about everything. Whoever invented this idea that we need to be correct, that we need to have everything correct, is generally the same person who's publishing false news on social media. Okay? Because a lot of things are not black and white. And that's why we have false news. Things are not black and white in the world. People have different experiences. People come from different backgrounds. So please choose the more intelligent way. Choose the way of questioning and choose the way of non-judgment. Okay? Thank you for being here today. If you like this video, you know what to do. Subscribe there. Punch that like button. Leave me a comment if you have the courage, and I'll see you here on the next video.